the view that I've now started to take is that for the countries, for societies and communities to succeed, you have to have businesses that are successful. And businesses that are successful will lead to successful economies, successful societies, and successful countries. And to have businesses that are successful, one of the most important things is having the people that can make those businesses actually, firstly, exist, secondly, be able to succeed. And I think this is where the complexity comes in. In one way, it's actually quite simple, in the sense that businesses create wealth. I have an endless debate with some of my friends in that, there are those who firmly believe that profits are bad. I think profits are the best thing that can ever happen to any society. In the sense that in the absence of profits, it's almost impossible to create wealth, whichever way you want to look at it. So, getting those that have more, let's say, political or social power to understand that at the end of the day, it is businesses that make societies succeed. It is businesses that make communities succeed, and it is businesses that make countries succeed. I mean, have you ever thought about why cities have more success, let's say economically speaking, than rural areas? And if we don't take businesses to rural areas, the chances are they're not going to change. And also, I mean, we all know about the issue of migration from rural areas to cities. It's a phenomenon that has generally been associated with economic development, with industrialization. But until we have policies and plans and ideas that focus on getting rural areas to be able to create businesses, it's almost impossible to expect rural areas to actually transform. So I think for me the most important thing that needs to be understood, or that we probably need to be agreeing on, is that business is critical for the success of society, and business is critical for the success of communities. But more importantly, businesses need people that will lead to that success. And that, I think, is probably one of the biggest challenges that we face. If I look at the African continent, in that unless we have the people that will make or who will become part of this business and become part of this business community, but with the clear view that it is successful businesses that will lead to successful countries. The whole issue of leadership really is about dealing with the unknown and being very comfortable in an environment in which the future is not that clear. Being very comfortable being able to deal with different types of situations in which there's quite a high level of unpredictability and a high level of uncertainty. And that, from a personal point of view, it does require certain basic characteristics. I think the issue about being committed to a cause becomes quite important, and believing in the cause, and also being in a position or being such that your belief in the cause is such that you are able to convince others who may not necessarily believe in that particular cause, who may not believe actually it is possible to do that. And I think you see that in so many instances where true leadership created something out of which no one believed it could actually be be created. And I think you have lots of examples around that. But I guess for me the issue is the willingness to commit to something which you're not too sure what the result will be, and take the risk, is probably one of the more important issues. In leadership, it's about swimming with the sharks. It's about also knowing yourself and knowing your limitations, but not necessarily being controlled by your limitations. And then finally, the issue of being able to craft a strategy that is going to get the company somewhere. Now, one thing about crafting a strategy, in my mind, is that there is no such thing as a right or a wrong strategy. And I guess you'll also find over time that in business, there's not so many things that fall into right or wrong. The only thing that really matters is whether your strategy is a winning strategy or not. And the most successful businesses and the most successful companies, I think this is where they really differentiate themselves, is in crafting a winning strategy and then being able to execute. I'm sure if I have to somehow, for whatever reason, get access to the strategies of my competitors, I probably find there isn't too much difference in terms of what it is you're trying to do. They're trying to acquire more customers, trying to grow their revenue, reduce churn, improve their margins, improve their profitability, return more cash to their shareholders. But the difference, one, is the people that I have to do that, and secondly, how they actually do it. And I think that literally summarizes what I think is critical in terms of what, from a leadership point of view and from a strategy point of view, what the issues really are. It's making sure that you craft a winning strategy. And that is the difficult. That's the first part of the difficult. Then the next part, which is really what separates the winners from the losers, is actually the execution. And then finally, once one goes from, like I said, the entrepreneurship, the leadership, at the end of the day, we have to manage a business in a manner that actually works and is actually sustainable. And again, unfortunately, some businesses are badly managed, but some businesses are very well managed. You need to be able to, one, have respect for the culture, have respect for the way things are done there. They may be different, but it doesn't mean they are wrong. Have respect for how people like to be to be communicated with. You know, in some environments, splashing out orders like go and do this, go and do this, go and do this works. In some environments, it doesn't work. But at the end of the day, the key issue is to make sure that the results are delivered. That's the key issue. And as long as there's the understanding that at the end of the day, we are here to deliver results. Yes, let's cater for your personal and unique needs, but at the end of the day, there are certain non-negotiables. For us, those non-negotiables start with governance. Those non-negotiables say that we'll always follow certain standards as far as governance is concerned. We'll always follow certain standards as far as making sure that wherever we operate, we always partner with local partners who we treat equally. We always make sure that from a governance point of view, issues such as conflict of interest, etc., and also the ethics of the company and those that we do business with are of a very high standard, to the extent that we firmly believe that you should never find yourself in a situation where you have something to hide. But unfortunately, there are certain realities in different parts of the world. There are certain times when we just have what you can consider as differing belief systems. And the key issue for us is that it's not a question of that they're right or they're wrong, but at the end of the day, we also have to build a culture in the company that is consistent with the company across different boundaries, across different religious areas, but at the end of the day, to try and make sure that our own company culture and our own expectations of behavior do somehow dominate from within the company perspective without necessarily contradicting the expectations or contradicting any of the, let's say, the cultural norms in the countries that we work in.